Okay, here we go. This is Serious Game with Uncharted Waters for the Super Nintendo, the SNES. This is going to be back from 91. This is a game from Koei, strategy. Requested stream from Clarence, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're just going to do a lot of instructional as we play it through. Should be a lot of fun. Let's start by getting our name in here. Why do I pick Serious? That is because ever since I started playing games like Dungeons & Dragons stuff, the Fire Mage was my favorite, so in general whenever I play these kind of games, or any games, I just put that in there because I like to burn stuff. Okay, so here we go. They give you these stats right away. Charisma is going to affect your hiring of people at the inns. It's going to affect their happiness level, the attrition of their loyalty to you. Not super important, but all of these skills are important at some point or another. I'm going to go ahead and say no to that. I'd like them to be a little bit higher. I'm going to go with this. This is fine. So I'm going to say yes. The ones that are going to be key for me are courage and strength. Courage, I've noticed that if it's lower, your main character can tend to get scared and run off during sea battles. Strength is, I believe this is attributed to your ability to stay the course when you're targeting a direction and you're trying to sail into it. I like the charisma to be a little bit higher. I don't want to be completely dislikable. None of these are going to be extremely detrimental to your game. So, just pick whatever you've got. Name a flagship. Let's just call it the Gamer. Let's call it the Gamer. Let's get started. I know you guys want to see this game going on. Man, I remember when I first rented this from Blockbuster to play it, and man, just getting it home and going through this, it was a lot of fun. Alright, is this ready? Is this ready? So, you're this guy, toil and trading in waters. Your father was a trader, and he got lost at sea. He's got a crush on the princess in the palace. This is the old mate who was your father's first mate, and now the two of you are going to try and make your riches in uncharted waters so that you can become somebody and hopefully draw the eye of the princess and the king and all that. Pretty cliche, pretty typical story, but they got to give you something to get started, right? So here we are. We start in Lisbon, which is Portugal, so we're starting in Iberia. This is Europe. And that's our ship down there on the lower left, that little crummy one. So it doesn't hold a lot. First thing I'm going to do is offload the stuff that's on it, which is 5 crates of pepper, 2 crates of quartz, just dump that. And we're going to buy, and in Lisbon, the cash crop is sugar. So I'll buy sugar. I never agree. I always negotiate down. 24, 23, something like that. Whatever he'll take. Yeah, he can't sell. Okay. So I'm not going to waste too much time nickel and diming, but you can always get it for at least 1 less. So I'm going to pick sugar. I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say give me for 24. Okay. Fine. He's just like makes the sale and get out of here. And then we leave. Now you can go to the inn and play cards and talk to the mates and stuff, but all of that is irrelevant at this point. Right now I just want to sail. Sail for 18 days? Yes, I'm ready. Let's go. And now this part right here you cannot speed up in any way. You must watch your guys row out to the boat and your boat leave. So it's a good time to take a sip of soda or whatever you got to do before you go to the next screen, which is the actual overworld sailing screen. I will point my ship north, and I will tell it to engage. I'm going to head north. This is where knowing a little bit about geography is going to pay off. Otherwise, just keep track of how I'm heading. I'm going to head east now. I'm going to France. Bordeaux should be a port right here. I don't know why the ports are hidden, but it's right here. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to debark, and I'm going to go ashore. I'm going to go right here. And I'm going to fix, because I have wood on board, and for some reason or another, my ship started in a beat-up shape, so here you go. Yes, that's okay. Repairs are finished. And now I'm going to sail. Yes. And now immediately I'm going to disembark at the port that I'm at. Call to Bordeaux, yes. And my sailing skills improved. So that's a good thing. These first few minutes of this game are going to be kind of redundant because you just got to go back and forth and make some money. So here in Bordeaux, we're gonna sell. We're gonna sell the sugar. And notice how we bought it at 24? We're selling it at 51. So already teaching us how to do buy and sell, buy low, sell high. And while we're here, we're going to buy. And I believe it's grain is the cash crop here. Let's see. No, porcelain? I think grain, yes, but porcelain is also one of the crops. Not even cash crop, I want to say. Gosh, guys, it's been a while. It's been a long time since I played this, but I'm thinking porcelain is one of the ones. So let's just go ahead and stock up on porcelain. We'll take it back. I hope I'm not wrong. Now, when he says there's news at the inn, that's the game telling you that it has a mission for you. You can actually go to the inn, talk to the people, ask the waitress for news, and they'll eventually tell you that somebody somewhere is looking for you. And it's not a bad thing. It's probably the innkeeper or the market guy, the merchant who wants you to go buy 20 grain and bring it to him or something like that. It's basically a go search, buy, pick up type quest. The reason why those are kind of helpful is you can use them to increase your reputation. So if I'm here and I go to info and I go to mates and I go to myself, so fame 20. Fame is going to play into whether or not you get job offers like those quests, or whether or not mates even want to sign up to sail with you. And you need more mates. You can have up to 5 ships, and I've currently only got 1, which I am sailing, so you need at least 4 other guys if you're going to build your fleet to the max of 5. Alright, let's just continue on. Pointing my ship diagonally like this means that it will take advantage of the easiest path of resistance. So the wind is pushing me west because that is the easiest way to go. If at any point the current or the wind allow me to go south easier than going west, then it will select that. So should get there slightly better. And then we'll target directly south. Alright, this one's for you, Clarence. How are we doing so far? Make sure to post in there if you have questions. I know that this game can be a little intimidating, but as long as you understand the transition between the screens when you're in port, when you're not in port, shouldn't be too much trouble. I will go to the inn just so you guys can see it. I'm not particularly interested in anything that's happening there, but everybody should see the inn at some point or another. There we go. So we bought the porcelain at, what was it, 62? And we're selling it at 106, so we'll dump that. Notice how the gold jumped to 4437, and here's a little note. You can only carry a maximum of 60,000. So just don't overload yourself with cargo and have too much gold and nowhere to dump it, and your purses are too full. Not that kind of thing. So we're going to buy for the gamer. We'll buy the sugar. We're going to do this a couple of times. I'm going to say no. Notice how it's at 24 now. That's because I just dumped the porcelain, so I've almost like reduced their economy a little bit by flooding it with goods. Trade routes will degrade over time. Alright, she says welcome. What shall we do? Are there any mates? I mean, there's mates. These two are fine. You can pick these guys up anytime you want. Go ahead. How'd you like to join my true crew? Sure. Fine mates. Now these two guys are weenie. They just are level 1. They're very beginning. Let's gossip. Someone's looking for you in Tunis. I know where Tunis is. You can also gamble. You can play blackjack. You can play poker. They're not too hard to read. You just play yourself a solid game. I believe this is 5-card draw. And it's just not the fastest way to make money. So if you want to play this, just switch cards I don't want. I just put those up and then I hit the confirm. And all I got is a pair of 9s, which is bogus. 44, jeez. I don't even want to deal with it. Yeah, he's got 2 pair. I'll play one more time. Let's see, what's the bet? 5? Give me something I can work with here. 4, 5. A 6 would be nice. You think I could get a straight? Kind of ridiculous to even get a straight. I'm not... There's no chance. I'm not going to get a 6. Nah, I got a pair of 7s. Let's see if they bet me out. Oh, he raised. Wow. With a pair of 8s. He still would have beat me. Alright, let's go another couple of hands here. I just want a hand that can actually win. 4, 7, 9. This is nothing. Nothing good that can come of this. Pair of 6s. Got really bad luck today. Aces, kings. There's a pair of 9s. And an ace king. If I could just get trip 9s, that would be something I could bet on. But alas, that's not going to happen. Let me get out while ye can. Let's see him. Woo! Trip 4s. So the game can be kind of frustrating, especially if you don't really know how to play cards. 6, 6, 8. Yeah, I'm just getting really crummy hands here. Sheesh. This game is really hitting me hard. They're testing me. What's he got? Let me see. Let me see. 2 pair again. And you just have to play conservatively until you get something that can actually hit. Keep the big top 2s. A pair of kings? That should beat most hands. You know what? I'm gonna bet another 15 to see what's up. Just don't raise me. Good, we got one guy out. No pair, no pair, pair. Well, looks like I won that one. That's cool. I'm not gonna play though. Yeah, that was a good game. See you later. Just got the money back and then we ran away. Now, notice that it took you the day to do that. Whenever you go into the inn and you talk or whatever, you come back out the next day. So if you're trying to wait for the next day or for some reason or another for that, just remember that you're going to lose a day just by going in there. One more thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a transfer. I'm going to do supplies. And I'm going to do it on the one ship, the Gamer. And see how that got that one lumber there? I don't need that. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to leave it. And now I'm going to sail. He says we're not well prepared, but keep in mind it only takes like 2 days, 3 max to get to Bordeaux. So when you've got 9 days, if it's under 10, he's always going to say we're not well prepared, but he doesn't know anything. And let's point the ship north. Now we've got info, mates. Let's take a look at the mates. So Jose has got 1 and 1. Very smart though. And then Marco, he's also 1 and 1. So age 14. Holy smokes. He's with those sideburns and he's 14. All right, here we go. Straight up. And 1. Proceeding west. And at this point of the game, to get to Tunis, you've got to carry some sugar with you. You have to think about restocking your food and water once you get there. And then who knows where the guy from Tunis is going to try to send you. He might say, go to Istanbul, and you're like, man, I don't have the time or the money to be sailing all over here for 20 crates of grain. I'm just guessing what he's going to ask you to do. You always enter the port at the first dusk of the following day of whenever you debark. You'll notice that it waits. You only enter in the morning of that day. So here at Bordeaux, we're going to sell off the Gamer. Another reason why I'm letting the food and water go down so far is it's taking up our cargo space on our ship. So here's a little thought. The Gamer currently has 5 food and 5 water. That gives me 60 that I can load with porcelain crates right now. If I put too much food and water on, then that affects my ability to carry so much porcelain. Alright, and we're going to sail. Boom bam, sail for 5 days, that's plenty of time to get there. I've got a crew of 20. And I gotta tell you, unless you're getting involved with sea battle, you don't need to fully crew your ships either. A ship like this can run on 5 men. Maybe less, I don't know. Super, super low amounts of crew, you will lose your ship at sea. It'll just sink. But we never let it go down that far. Bigger ships, you might want to put a minimum of like 10 guys on there. It does affect your mobility, but not drastically. The benefit for food and water being used up at a slower rate is worth it. But we'll get there when we buy the next ship. And that's really the goal at this point, is to just buy and sell until you get together enough money to buy a couple of used ships, which I have Marco and Jose now. And then once you've got those used ships, then the trade routes get better. You can carry a lot more sugar, porcelain, etc., etc. Alright, debark, port call, yes. We've totally run out of food and water. So, water's free, but food costs. So first I'm going to sell. And I'll sell all this porcelain. And I know it's not a giant amount of porcelain, but it will have a little effect on the amount of food on board. So if I go to restock and I go food, 18 gold per barrel. Standard is 20. And stock the gamer. I'll put 10 food on there. Cost me 180. Water. On the gamer. Give me 10. I have 10 of each. Now I'll go back up here to the market. And I'll buy the sugar. I'm not going to pay 23. How about 22? He's done with that. Cool. 50. Go. Sail back to Bordeaux. Now, to be fair, when I first played this game in, I don't even know what year it was. 91, 92, whatever. I was sailing all over. I was going to like Hispaniola, Jamaica. I found a port over in the United States that was food and water only. You can go all kinds of cool places here. But you're not going to find amazing trade routes by doing it. If you go to Jamaica, you can get coral, which buys and sells pretty well. But you do have to travel south into the equator, and unless you have, I would say, protective items for your ships, like figureheads and icons, the storms and whatnot can damage your ships, and you can even lose your ships. So you want to stay in these temperate waters, especially at first. So debark, port call, Bordeaux, boom. Where to? Well, where do you think, Jose? Where have we been going every time? Sell, gamer, sugar, boom. 95. Buy, gamer, porcelain. The reason why I'm not trying to negotiate here in Bordeaux is the economy isn't developed and protected enough for him to be able to afford to negotiate. So he won't. Not here. Alright, moving on. And at this point, I should be able to buy a slightly larger ship, which I will go ahead and do. How many trips have we made thus far? Pointing the ships in the direction. Oh, and here's something I'll show you. So if you go to info, mates, does it show their loyalty level? 21. Okay, so Jose has a loyalty of 21. Marco has a loyalty of 20. So if you go to, let's see. Is it info? Mates? No, it's not. Order? Distribute? To Jose? And just give him like 100 gold. He says, thank you very much. You'll see it flash. His loyalty will go up a little bit. 37, see that? and then you go order, distribute, Marco. Now these guys are little punks, so don't spoil them. Just give them a little bit of money at first. 22, I don't know what it was. Info, mates, mate, Marco, 36. Okay. As you give them money, your charisma will go up. It's going to take money. It's going to take a lot of distributing, but that is one way to increase your charisma that I've found. It's just by giving them gold, your charisma goes up. Now, some mates have tendencies. At least I've noticed in all the years of playing this game. Jose, for example, his loyalty will degrade over time. Just naturally will go down. But only while he's on a ship. Only while he's a captain. If he's just sitting on your ship, any mate that's sitting on your ship, their loyalty will not degrade. Debark port call, yes. Alright, we're in Lisbon again. How about stop? How about not? How about no? How about sell? All that porcelain. Bam. 601142. Now that we've got so much, let's go over here to the shipyard. We're gonna buy used. Costs more to build. I'm gonna look. How much is the Carrack? Ugh. Gosh, that's a lot. That's a lot. No, we're not going to buy that right now. Give me the next one down. So this is the tiniest ship, next largest ship, the next largest ship, etc., etc. So we'll take this one. 98. Give it to me for less than that. Give it to me for like 95. Oh, what a cheapo. Unused. Just give it to me. I should be able to get some kind of a deal here. 200 off. Give me that. I'm just gonna name the ship model type. There we go. He'll be the navigator for now. Fix? Because it's all beat up. He sells his junked out ships. Alright, we've done some work there. Now, once you buy a ship, you gotta remember that there's stuff you gotta do. It's not sail ready just yet. You have to go here and say transfer men. See, I've got 20 men on the gamer and none on the new ship. Put the gamer at like 7 and put the rest on the new ship. Now I've got 2 ships, but I still have the same amount of men, which is pretty cool. So food, 17 per barrel. Give me like 20. And then here, nope. Now my initial ship will just become my food and water ship. Notice how the cargo space is much higher on the big new ship? That's a bonus. Lisbon doesn't sell galleons. That's a pain. You have to go down to Seville. You gotta go to Spain to get a galleon. Buy sugar. We're a little tight on the gold. So we're gonna get as much as we can. We probably won't even be able to fill the ship. Look at that, 47. Oh boy. Man, I really overextended myself. Gold is running low. Yeah, because I gave you and Jose 100 apiece. We're gonna sail though. Let's do it. Maybe we won't get anywhere like this. Oh, oops. I accidentally bought 40 food. That's why my gold went down farther than I expected. So we'll stock it as full as we can. We'll get there. Unfortunately, you can't sell the food back. But we do have a month worth of food and water now, so there's that. Alright, point the ship north. And here's what we'll do. We're going to do order personnel. Now, my sailing skill is a little bit better than the other two guys, so I want to be on the bigger, more difficult ship. So we're going to switch them. See that? And in fact, I'm probably just going to put Marco on there and leave Jose off for now. So Marco has the easy ship, so he's going to gain some sailing experience, rigging and sailing and getting that ship on the water, but it's not going to be too difficult for him. Me, on the other hand, my sailing experience, if you look, info, mates, yourself, my sailing XP, I'm level 3. So I'm a couple levels higher than him, which means I've got a little bit better chance at managing this larger ship than he does. The best ship you can get is the heavy galleon, and you cannot buy them used. You have to work with a shipyard and invest in a particular shipyard in order to build the heavy galleons. And FYI, we will be using Bordeaux to do that. Debark, port call, yes. Alright, be nice to stop at the inn. It would. It would. Why do you want to go to the inn all the time, Mr. Card Player? Mr. Beer Drinker? Okay, sell. All 47, boom. 23, okay, buy. Right here. It's gonna be the porcelain again. 39. Jeez, we can hold so much more than that. I've got wasted cargo space because I overextend myself financially. Probably shouldn't have paid those two guys the 200. Probably shouldn't have messed up with the food. Restock water. Where are we at here? I'll just load another 10. 35 and 35, so you can see the food and water are evenly split. You only need to have one ship loaded with food and water. One ship in your fleet has food and water on it. It will supply the whole fleet as it's going. Each ship doesn't need its own. Notice how the bigger ship here has pulled in. Now I'm on the bigger ship. If you do another trip or two, you can get the Carrack, the bigger ship, sail that one. Depends on your patience level. It didn't matter. The whole goal here is just to grab another ship so you have more cargo, and get more bang for your buck per trip, rather than stocking food and water and trying to go back and forth with a minimum of what? 40, 50, 60 cargo space. Now this one ship alone can carry 310. So each trip is more effective now. 1, 2, one more. Boom. You get to know exactly where you need to stop and change course over time. Sometimes you just set course and then you go to the restroom or wherever, or go fill your water cup and you come back and your guy is there. In fact, if you were trying to build your sailing experience, you would use a setup like this with tons of food and water and see how I'm pointing my ship right in. And then just after this, just go mow the yard or something. And when you come back, your sailing experience will be higher. Sometimes that's the only way to level up your sailing XP. Alright, troubles at sea, yeah. We're not going out to the rough waters. Alright, sell all the porcelain, boom, 36. And then buy for the big ship. Sugar. Other items are worth more in other places. Firearms, for example. If you buy the firearms here and you take them down to Jamaica, they sell for a lot down there. When you buy the coral in Jamaica and you bring it up here, it sells for a lot here. It can be a very lucrative trip. Alright. Finally getting our margins up. And sail. Now leaving Lisbon. Uncharted Waters for the Super Nintendo. Koei made some great strategy games. And not just the Uncharted Waters, but they had the Pacific Theater of Operations, the Liberty or Death, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms series. Very, very good. Genghis Khan 2. That was also a fun one. Alright, here we are back at Bordeaux. Port call. I'm gonna go ahead and push this to be a whole playthrough. I don't know how many streams it's gonna be, but we will get it all the way to the end. This is the kind of game where you can basically just choose when you want it to be the end, because they try to advance your rank and your reputation much faster than you even feel comfortable with. So we'll buy here. I'm gonna go ahead and buy the porcelain again. Sheesh, 161, okay. When I get back to Lisbon, I'm gonna check and see who wants where, and we will make that trip. How about that? I know you guys want to see more than just this close to home trade route, so we'll go do it. We have the manpower. I'd also like to buy a telescope, and I'll show you why. Sometimes there are things that you need to buy. So you need a telescope, you're going to need to outfit your ships with a particular sword or weapon, like a saber. You'll need a sextant so that you can see your coordinates for finding certain locations. There was one time where I don't know how the random number generator did it, but I had one game where I had to keep going to the item shops, and the guy was telling me to go to a certain location and dig for treasure. And it was one of the most fun games I've ever played. It only happened to me like once, but it had decided that I was more of a treasure hunter than a merchant or a privateer, and it was really fun to play the game that way. I would love to know how to force the game to accept me in that way. That was a really fun game to play. Alright, here we are back at Lisbon. So, any questions up to this point? If you try to go into the palace, they'll kick you out. You have no rank. Commoners are not allowed. So, let's go to the inn. Oh, first we'll sell. Sell all this cargo. Boom. 14,821. Now I'm gonna buy. The fun thing about sugar from Lisbon is it is worth... It's profitable pretty much anywhere in the Mediterranean. So if I buy it for 18 here... Oh, jeez, he can't sell? Okay. Really hitting their trade route hard. I'll take it at 19. Can max out at 310? What's that put our gold at? I don't know. Alright, he wants to go to the... You know what? Let's go over here too. Let's go here really quick. This is the item shop. Purchase. No, I need a telescope. Sextant would be nice, but I need the telescope. So the icon helps to prevent your ships from being damaged. It's like a luck thing. Sextant gives you your coordinates. Dagger is what your men would use if they go hand to hand with other ships. Sword is obviously better. I know it says dagger and sword, but it really means a bunch of swords to outfit all your men on your ships when you guys go hand to hand. And you can also sell items, but I don't have any items to sell. National information. I'm not going to pay for it. I have nothing to do, I guess. Okay. You can also go here. This is like a little informational shop. So if I click view, then I can see what's happening with the port. So as you can see, I've been buying and selling with Bordeaux so much that the prices are at 83%. If they're at 100%, then the food would be 20 a barrel. But because it's at 83%, food is like, what is that, 19 a barrel, 18 a barrel? So it's lower. You can also view your ships and stuff here. For example, if I view the ship I started with, it's got a figurehead up there, the swan figurehead. Also note it's got culverin cannons. So don't sell this ship because it actually can fire on other ships. You want to keep that for a little bit, as opposed to this new ship that I bought. When you buy a used ship, it doesn't come with any figurehead, it doesn't come with any armaments. You're basically just buying a bigger ship with cargo space. You can also view yourself and your mates and mate info and stuff. Alright, let's go to the inn. And this is because if you wait too long, then the person who wanted to see you will change. So let's tip. Tunis. Okay. So it's still the same guy. Let's go see if it's still the same guy when I get there. I doubt it. But we'll find out. I would love to buy a telescope, and the reason for that is because... Sale. You need a telescope in order to see ports when you come upon them. Remember when we went to Bordeaux that I did not identify and spot the port until I was right on top of it at the coastline? If you have a telescope, you move one space within that map and then they'll find it. Your lookout will find it. My lookout has no telescope right now. We're basically sailing blind. So if I go here and I go look, inspect, I can't see anywhere but right around my ship. See that? So you have to be right next to it in order to see it. The telescope costs 1,000 and it is worth it in every way because it lets you look, inspect throughout the entire map. You gotta pick one up as soon as you can afford it. It's probably the most valuable item that you would first purchase. I would say the sextant would probably be the second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here. I'm gonna stop in Spain. And the reason for this is I think they should have a telescope. So I'm gonna go here. Come on. Purchase. No, they don't. This is annoying. Did Bordeaux have a telescope and I just didn't remember it? Fine, mates. Fernando, he won't join me. You don't know who you're dealing with. Alright, whatever. Cost me a night to talk to that guy. I think Bordeaux had the telescope, to be honest. Would you guys mind going with me one more time to Bordeaux? I know we need the telescope. Alright, well, maybe we'll find it along the way. We could stop in Valencia. Tunis isn't too far out. Tunis isn't too far. If we don't find it in Tunis, then we'll find it on the way back. Different ports have different items, obviously. So, start by going south. I'm just a little annoyed because now I can't see what ship that is. Unless I'm right on top of it. If it happens to be a pirate, then they're gonna attack you. You do not want to let pirates catch up to you. They're around. The game won't throw pirates at us right now. But you never know. Let's go down to Algiers. Let's see if... I know that there's a mate there that is always there. His name's Miguel. And maybe there is also a telescope here. Do our port call. Bam. Alright. There is no item shop here. But I will pick up the mate. Find mates. Get Miguel. Alright. And let's get out of here. If it's a small port that is not well-funded or connected to a country, a crown, per se, then it's going to be less equipped. They're not going to have item shops. They're not going to have a palace. They're not even going to have a lot... If the economy is low, they're not even going to have a lot of product. Here in Algiers, I actually could have sold my sugar and bought a bunch of grain, but that's about it. Couldn't have done anything else. Mainly just came here to get the guy who was at the inn. And also discovering the port. Every time you discover a port, I think it adds 10 to your fame. So you do get fame for discovering ports. I'm going to stop in Valencia. I remember where all the ports are, even though they're hidden. They're always there. Port call. Alright, do they have an item shop here? Yes, they do. Let's go stop there. Purchase. Telescope, that's what we wanted, bam. Yes, I will take that, thank you so much. Now we've got our vision back. I'm gonna stop at the inn and double confirm. Double confirm that they're still looking for me in Tunis. Nope, now it's Marseille. See that? Changed. If you wait too long, the guy in the shop will be like, you know what, forget it. But the game will still want to advance your rank, so they'll just give you another location. So here we go. We're gonna go to France now. 7 days? I can get there in 7 days. Alright, proceeding this way. Now I can say look, inspect, and see how I can go all the way on the whole map. Turkish ships. Alright, that really is a Turkish, actually I think he's a Turkish privateer. You can actually talk to them. Negotiate with the guy right next to you. Sugar's best sold in Bordeaux. Still? Okay. Thanks for the tip. So, because I have sugar as my cargo, he will tell me where I can best sell it, what the best sale price for sugar is. If he was a pirate, he'd be right on top of him right now. They would engage, there would be a sword, and it would be trouble. So you've got to be careful. The only thing I don't want is for the merchant to say, bring me sugar, because I have sugar on board. So the game will automatically say, oh, well, this isn't enough sugar, bring me more. Just to make sure that you go and do something. And I'm going to say no. I'm not going to sell my sugar and go on that quest for nothing. Favorite ask. Okay. He wants wool. 31 crates. Yeah, I'll do it. Look at that, he prepays. That's pretty cool, huh? Well, yeah, of course I'm doing it. Okay, I wanted to sell my sugar, but I guess I can't. Roberto. Alright, we picked up another guy. Now, if you gossip, they'll tell you where you can buy wool. Yeah. Marketplace in Marseille is pretty lacking at this point. I'm gonna have to use a little money to buy some food and water just so I can get out of here. Always make sure you have a little money on hand just in case you run short on supplies. So we're gonna restock food. 19, that's not bad. I'm gonna go up to 35 because that's half of 70, right? You're always doing math here. So 35 barrels of food, 35 barrels of water means I have now maximum sale time 31 days. Sale for a month. I believe you can get wool in Antwerp, if I'm not mistaken. So I will go to Antwerp, which is just north of Bordeaux. A little bit of a trip, not a big deal. It'll be fun. Alright, here we go. I'm not even concerned with who that fleet is. Galleon. Okay, he's Portuguese. Luciano's a Portuguese guy. I can talk to him, no problem. Negotiate. Panama, there were some skilled men. So if it's a guy who is a privateer, he'll tell you where the mates are. Genoa, Istanbul, Venice, Antwerp. Okay, cool. Because some of the mates, some of the skilled ones, like Fernando, they roam around. They'll only be at a port for a period of time, and then they switch them and they move to another port. There's only one mate that I've never been able to get, and that's Diaz. So if you've ever gotten Diaz, let me know what his skills are, because even with max fame and my sailing and battle skill as high as I could get it, I was never able to get Diaz on my team. Very difficult to get that guy. But you don't even really need him. You can have, I think you can have 10 mates. You can have a lot of mates. You can basically have a set of mates on your ships and then a whole another set that's just in reserve on your ships. So you never have a problem with mates. Alright, 1, 2, up. Take this all the way up to Antwerp. Unless you want to stop at Bordeaux on the way. But sugar sells well in Antwerp too, so not a big deal. This is the screen where Bordeaux is. And I believe this is just an extra middling screen. Now I will change course to the west. I should sail right into Antwerp here. So if you're confused, if you get a speculum, you can map it out. So that you can see a map of where you're at location-wise. The speculum is very valuable when you're learning the game. If your geography is a little rough in one spot, it's helpful to be able to map it out. At some point we will find a speculum, and I will be able to afford it, so I'll show you what it does. Here we go. Oh, missed it. I gotta wait till the next day. Okay. Back in France. Let's start by going here. Sell. All that sugar. Ooh, no. Nuh-uh. I'm not gonna sell all my sugar for 17. I guess they... How many crates of wool did he want? 22? Oh boy. I forgot. We got a problem here. They don't sell wool here. They sell sugar. For a super high price, but yeah, they sell sugar. So... Alright. We're not gonna be able to do that. Find mates? Who was it? Nicholas? Alright, we got another guy. Can she tell me where to buy wool at? Northern Europe. Got it. Alright, then that's where we'll go. That makes sense. We're gonna go to, like, Oslo. I can do that. Where are we at? 17 days? No problem. No problem. Just a little pit stop. A little pit stop, no big deal. A little corrective action. If you really want to research it, you can find out where all the ports initially buy and sell stuff. A port like Bordeaux, you can actually invest money and they'll eventually start selling wool and who knows what else. It changes their economy, it increases the amount of items that they offer. Alright, here we go. Arctic waters. London. Let's see if London has wool. Alright, let's start by selling. That's a better price for sugar, yeah. Now let's buy. What do you got? What have you got for me? Wool. Nice. But there's also porcelain. So I can get the wool here. I don't even remember how much he wanted, but I know it wasn't more than 50. So let's get 60 wool, and the rest I'll fill with porcelain. The grain you can also make money on. Stop at the inn? Sure. Find mates? No. Alright. You can always look to see if mates are there and not lose a day over it. So that's a cool thing. 16 days. And you betcha that I'm going to stop in Lisbon and dump that porcelain. Probably pick up a sugar along the way too. You gotta always be making money on your routes. Utilize that extra cargo space, you know? Alright, if you sail even higher, you can go to Oslo, and I think you can get the Claymore sword. Which is one of the better swords, probably one of the best swords that you can equip your crew with. Alright. Coming up on an hour for this stream, guys. It's not going to be too much longer for this one. Getting a lot of sailing experience in here. If you're ever not sure where you are, just head straight for the coastline. I know that I'm just above Iberia. I should be sailing right into where Lisbon is at. Uh-oh. Did I miss it? Okay. If I had the speculum, I'd probably be better suited to understanding where I was at, but I... Oh, you know what? I was coming from Oslo. Or from London. Of course I'm way, way north. I'm way, way north still. Alright. Here we go. Now we're closer. But yeah, I overshot it a little bit. And that's fine. You need the sailing experience. You always need the sailing experience. Your battle skill is going to go up. Eventually, your battle skill is going to go way faster than your sailing experience. So here we are in Lisbon. Sell. We're going to sell all that porcelain. Which, didn't we buy it at like 60 something? That really wasn't a huge gain, was it? Gaining maybe 15, 20 per crate? I don't know. That's dangerous. Restock. Food, please. 14 per barrel. Holy smokes. 1, 2, 3, 31. That'll restock us back to 35. Water. Right here. Bam. 31. Okay. How much have we got? We got a lot. We got a lot of money right now. Let me buy a new ship. Let's buy another used ship. What you got here? This one? How much are those? For 100 less. Alright. There we go. We're gonna fix. Right here. So let me think here. I can drop the tiny ship down to 5. I don't know if I feel comfortable with the manpower where it's at right now. Let me take a look. Get down there. We're gonna do transfer men. This one 5. 765. This one, 8. Yeah, I'd like a few more men than this. I don't want to split them up so light. So that means that I've got to go to the inn and recruit some sailors. Alright, crew, recruit. Not a lot. 21 men is plenty. So let's go with 8 men here, 10 here. That's a lot. 20, 20 here, maybe 13 here. That should be good. So when you have more sailors on your ships, that means that they eat your food and water faster. We're not going to be sailing for a month on 35 and 35 anymore. Just keep that in mind. So now that we got that full, let's go here. And then let's buy for the big ship. Boom. Sugar? 18, no. I'll pay 17. Ah, cheapo. Okay, buy for the big ship. Give me sugar at 18. Take the whole 420. And then for this ship, go ahead and fill that one up too with sugar. I'm not going to pay 20. Give me it for 19. 250. Good. Okay. So the ships are stocked. Got a lot of sugar. We got the wool that we owe the guy. Let's sail. What's our sail look like now on the full? 16 days. We can get there in 16 days, no problem. There goes nothing. Now notice that I'm still using that mid-sized ship, okay? We're going to switch that up in a minute. You'll see. Alright, point the ships, and then we're going to go order, personnel, and I will take the big ship. So switch him to here. Marco's got a little bit more sailing experience, so we'll switch him to the slightly bigger ship. See how I'm doing that? And then done. Let's take a look and see. Info, mates, mate, Marco, sailing, level 4. Very good. And Jose is brand new. See, sailing 0. And I've got level 4. Alright, no worries. But at least you've got guys who have a little bit of sailing experience on the bigger ships. The effect is, if you put a guy who's sailing level 1 on a big ship like a galleon, he's still going to sail, but you'll feel that it's sluggish. You'll point the ship south or something, and it'll take a minute for your ship to get there, for him to control the ship appropriately. And the slowest ship in your fleet will slow you down. So, there's that. One, two, boom. Straight on. You gain a little bit of fame for every port you discover. I think it's 10 points or 20 points. That's why I have a level of fame already, even though I haven't done anything. Back to Marseille. As far as I can tell, being a merchant and buying and selling with the trade route at Bordeaux is the fastest way to get to beat this game. I don't think you can start as a guy who outfits his ship with cannons and goes and fights. The fleets that you're going to run into are going to destroy you. And really weak merchant fleets, they're not very common. So building up that very first battle that you ever do, it's a tough one. You came back, I'm glad. Okay, cool. Here's the reward. Note to self, next time write down the exact number of crates he wants. Alright. Now we go sell. Off. How much wool is left? Just sell it here. What did we buy it for? 49? Well, we don't want it, so take it. And then buy. What you got? He doesn't have anything. There's nothing here that that's worth it. Alright, this is where we'll save. So I'm gonna press, what was it? Select, save. Wow, there's a save game? I'll save over that, 1504. Alright, quick game? Sure. Okay guys, we'll see you again for part 2 on this Uncharted Waters playthrough. Take it easy.